Hello students, in this video we will look into the chapter of why do we fall ill. You may have noticed that as children you may have fallen ill a number of times, sometimes because you have got wet in the rain or because of an allergy to something or even because of the eating habits, like if you indulged in eating cold foods like ice creams and some soft drinks and so forth. Apart from that, you may also fall ill because of certain conditions which you may possess, either from birth or because of the environment that you currently live in. In this chapter, we look to see what actually makes us healthy and what makes us sick. What is health? Health is a state of well-being. Okay, meaning when you are healthy, you can perform your daily functions without any hindrance, without any restrictions. You can do your day-to-day activities. Okay, and when you mean health, we don't just refer to physical well-being. It can also mean mental well-being and social well-being. Okay, how you are with respect to your surroundings, I mean with respect to your society, and how you, what is your mental state, whether you sometimes you may be depressed because of certain things prevailing around you, your conditions in the house, or maybe in the office, or maybe at school, or wherever it may be, or maybe just general, you may be just depressed because of some certain disease that you may have. Apart from that, physically, you know what do you mean by health with respect to physical well-being. It means you're not suffering from any illness, you're not, you are fit and fine, you can eat anything you like, you can play, you can walk, you can run, okay, and you can do your normal day-to-day activities whatever you like, without having to worry about things like blood pressure or diabetes or thyroid problem and so forth. Disease. Now, here the definition that is given is any disturbance in the structure or function of any organ or part of the body. But we know disease as what? Something that causes us to become ill, right? Something that makes us sick. That is something that is disease. That is what we refer to as disease. For now, example, current prevailing situation is we have a COVID-19 pandemic, which means there is a virus that is infecting people and affecting their well-being, their physical well-being, and even now it has become so that it is mentally affecting them, because many of them live in the fear that they may get catch the virus. The others who have been under lockdown globally as well, they can't go and mix up with the people. They can't go and meet their family members or their partners or their friends, whoever they would like to converse with, because over the phone, speaking to someone is different than meeting that person. Then again, it may be for some people, it may be you may not have anybody, but for you, the next door neighbor, or maybe the guy at a store or a girl at a store that you go and meet, pick up the vegetables or grocery from, saying hi, hello, that would be more than enough for your mental well-being. But if you can't do that, then it begins to affect your mental well-being. You tend to become depressed as well, because you aren't able, you're not given the freedom to do what you really like. It feels to begin that you are put in a prison. You know, most of us would have not experienced what it is like to be in a prison, but during these lockdown periods, many of us may have felt like that, that we are in a prison, not allowed to do anything, can't go out anywhere, can't speak, can't go out for function, can't hold functions. Okay, and many such things. So this affects our mental. When we speak about health, health is not just our physical well-being. We also look at mental, because mentally, if we are not sound, if we are, I'm not saying that you are mentally deranged, but I'm just saying if you are not 100% mentally fit to do certain tasks, you will not be able to do it. Okay, and that this particular pandemic, that is COVID-19 pandemic, has affected all of us greatly in some way or either. Sometimes we know that it has affected us, and sometimes we are not aware that it has affected, but it has affected our lifestyle, it has affected the way we conduct ourselves in our day-to-day life, how we converse or relate with each other. Okay, and it has also affected our health. See, mentally, if we are fit and fine, they say nothing happens to your physical health. When you are mentally affected, then things start begin to crop up. You start beginning to feel sick, something is wrong here, something is, and many of them, as I said, have begun to live in that fear that they may be affected and they may die of that COVID. Okay, so the fear to a great extent has been exaggerated, has been blown out of proportions. Okay, even sometimes the cause is genuine. I mean, sometimes there is a need to be cautious, but being over cautious is also not good enough. Okay, so this is a type of disease that is affecting our mental health as well as our physical well-being is. Okay, and also our social well-being, because we are social animals, so we need to interact with people. So when we are stopped from doing that, it definitely affects our health. Okay, so with respect to physical well-being, in this chapter we'll be dealing more with physical well-being only. So when we speak about diseases are caused by various reasons, and most of them are by pathogens like viruses and bacteria. And I was just referring to a virus, the COVID-19 virus. It's a coronavirus, and it has affected like millions of people globally. It has even killed millions globally. Okay, in our India itself, more than a lakh people have perished, and it has affected millions of other lives. Okay, um, yeah. What else causes diseases? Lack of nutritious diet. So if we do not get proper food, or we do not focus on eating well, sometimes it is not just about lack of food. Sometimes it is about you're getting good food, but it is not nutritious enough, and you're feeding on food that is not really helping your body. It's kind of just accumulating fat and unnecessary chemicals within your body. So when you speak about a nutritious diet, it speaks about a balanced diet, a diet that has got carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, micronutrients and macronutrients present on your plate. Okay, that is needed for your body. Okay, it's not just giving you just a big dose of carbohydrates or a big dose of vitamins. No, it is a balanced diet, and it's a natural thing. That means you have vegetables, green leafy vegetables on your plate. You have rice, maybe you have chapati, then you have pulses like dal and so forth. You have fish, okay, rich in protein. You have chicken, again, protein as well as lean meat. Okay, and sometimes you have like red meat as well, which is a rich source of proteins. But having excess of anything can harm your body, because your body needs little bit of everything, not too much of one thing. When we do that, it also leads to a lack of nutritious diet. Apart from that, our country basically majorly suffers from lack of nutritious diet because of lack of food that is unavailable to people living below the poverty line. The government has been making efforts to improve the standard over there. Still lot is left desired over the years. things have improved for people staying below the poverty line and those who are on the borderline as well. But still, it's a work in progress, and hopefully, one day we will have our country in such a way that uh, everybody will be able to enjoy a nutritious diet. Enjoying a nutritious diet doesn't mean an expensive meal. It just means that you need to have proper quantities of all the nutrients present in your diet. That's all. Okay. Apart from a nutritious diet, what is seen as being the spread of diseases is lack of public health services. See, public health services can be hospitals, maybe clinics, um, or public health centers. Okay, so what these do? These are not just there to treat people. These are there also to raise awareness among people. Those, especially those public health services within the rural area, they mostly organize certain programs, certain skits like a small concerts to educate, to inform people about the do's and don'ts, and in many such cases, okay, which rural background, that means in villages, remote villages, who may not be aware, like if they do this they will fall sick, if they do that they will be healthy. So such education is imparted by this, and even in urban areas like in cities, not everybody is aware of how to be healthy or how diseases, certain diseases are caused. Okay, so these public health services, which may be of any form, okay, are very crucial in eradicating a disease or maybe restricting the spread of the disease. Okay, because if you allowed a disease to spread, look, for example, we have allowed the spread of this COVID-19, okay, this coronavirus, as a result of which the cases have become too many, and because they have become too many, uh, there's a whole pressure on the infrastructure, health infrastructure. When I say health infrastructure, we refer to in a hospital or a clinic you have limited number of beds. Let's say a hospital has got 100 beds to treat infectious cases, cases which cause infections very rapidly. But if you have 200 people, where will you accommodate an additional 100 people? Then the 100 people have to wait, because, and not just that, it's not just about beds, but it's also about doctors and nurses. Okay, doctors and nurses are hired for normal situation, as in not for an infectious period. Like for example, now there is like lots of infection, and lots of people are getting sick, lots of people are dying. That's because for one uh, 10 for like say 50 patients, there's just one doctor, maybe two nurses. How much can one doctor and two nurses handle? Okay, look at it, is a very very difficult task. In such cases where critical care is required, care which is a very important and timely care is required, when they do not get, these people then die. And that is why we've had a lot of deaths during this COVID-19 pandemic, because of the lack of infrastructure. And it's not the fact that we have not created the infrastructure. The thing is, the infection is too much. Okay, we have doctors and nurses to cater for normal diseases that we encounter day to day life, or certain accidents that we encounter day to day life, whatever. Okay, so there are enough number of doctors and nurses on a day to day basis to treat uh, diseases or disorders or certain accidents that they people encounter on a daily basis, but not an infection of the magnitude or the scale of COVID-19. We would need a lot more medical personnel we don't have. And then again, the medical personnel that treat the doctors and nurses that treat these people, they are also human, so they can also catch the virus, and many have even caught the virus and died. Okay, so yes, so various diseases are caused by pathogens or by lack of nutritious diet or balanced diet, or due to lack of public health services. Then we have something called acute diseases and chronic diseases. What are acute diseases? Acute diseases are those that occur suddenly and last for a short duration, while chronic diseases develop slowly and last for a long period of time. Okay, so this is the distinction between acute diseases and chronic diseases. Acute diseases, remember, they come suddenly and they go suddenly, as in they don't last for a long period of time. Okay. On the other hand, we have chronic diseases. These are diseases that develop over a period of time, and they they take a long time to go, or sometimes they go only after the person is dead. Okay, it remains with the person for a very long period of time. Something like diabetes. Okay, diabetes doesn't happen to people overnight. Many of us have this misconception. Okay, I've been eating a lots of sweets lately, that is why uh, I've got diabetes. But no, that is not the case. The diabetes is a lifestyle disease that has or a disorder, you may say, that has set into an individual over a period of time. Okay, and there's no way of reversing it, but you can manage it, and it remains within an individual till that person's death. That doesn't mean it is a social stigma, like something that you should be ashamed of, or something like like a curse, like I'm cursed because I have diabetes. No, no, no. It's fairly normal. Any individual with diabetes can lead a very normal life, provided you manage your diet very well, and if you are on certain medications, then you need to make sure you take your medications properly and review your medications with your medical practitioner that you have been visiting in order to treat, most probably an endocrinologist. Okay, so we'll come to the diseases part and to diabetes later on as we move along. So now we just focus on acute diseases and chronic diseases. We know acute diseases that they come suddenly, go suddenly, and chronic diseases which gradually sets into you or builds up and then remains for a very long time, and sometimes it can be as long as you continue to live. Now, diseases or infections can be prevented by lifestyle modification. Most of the problems that we face today, particularly in India, are because of lifestyle problems. For example, even diabetes. Okay, diabetes, we consume more, we work less, as a result of which there's a lot of sugar that builds up, and that sugar gets unutilized, and that leads to a continuous spike of blood sugar in the blood, okay, which we call as blood sugar, and that affects the various organs and tissues of our body. So it is important that we exercise. Exercise could also mean daily work. Okay, daily work not by sitting but by moving around. It can also you need proper sleep, at least 7 hours of sleep every day. There should be enough relaxation. So being under continuous stress over a long period of time can be very harmful to an individual. Important to eat a proper balanced diet. Okay, you have a little bit of protein on your plate, a little bit of starch on your plate, that is carbohydrate, a little bit of vitamins, a little bit of various nutrients. You need to practice good personal hygiene, take care of your health, your grooming and so forth. And make sure that your surroundings are clean and healthy. It is not just important for you to be clean and healthy, it is important that people around you also practice. When I mean people around you, it could mean your family members or your roommates and so forth. Keep your house clean, keep your surroundings around your house clean. Make sure your waste goes into a dustbin or gets buried into a pit and so forth. Avoid water around just lying still, so that it should not breed mosquitoes. If you have water lying around, make sure you clean it up or you utilize it. So be careful of open tanks. If you have open tanks, put a net over it and so forth. So my small things, nothing great, but it's about being conscious about your surroundings, because everything affects your health, because you live within that ecosystem. Okay. Okay, now various treatment for this disease involve killing of the microbes and pathogens. Okay, so if there is an invader within your body, somebody who is causing a problem, the first thing is to destroy that microbe or that pathogen, foreign pathogen, that is causing you harm, that is causing illness within you. Okay, so that the main line of treatment always revolves around destroying or eliminating what is causing the problem. So once again, health is a state of physical, mental, and social well-being. Now, what are the conditions necessary for good health? First thing, good physical and social environment. Good physical and social environment meaning you need to make sure your surroundings are clean, neat. There's no garbage lying around, and there's no mosquitoes breeding. There's no open pools of water where dangerous mosquitoes can breed or flies can move around. Food is covered at all times. Okay, and things are neat overall. Social environment refers to how you interact with people within your house and surrounding as well. Good economic conditions. Okay, health and good economic conditions go hand in hand. Doesn't mean you need to be rich to be healthy, but when you have sufficient income, you're financially okay. I'm not saying you should be rich, but if you're financially good enough such that you have at least twice you have a meal per day, and you can afford basic hygiene and good surroundings. Okay, have a proper um, roof over your head. I feel that's more than enough for good health. So good physical and social includes, as I said, surrounding, good sanitation, proper garbage disposal, clean and drinking water. Very, very important. You need to have clean drinking water. If you feel your water is dirty, you need to have a filter. Good option is also to boil. Some filter it and boil as well. Extremely good. Nothing like being uh, cautious, being careful about your health. Okay, and I told you about good economic conditions, enough money. So to have money, you need to have a job. So it is the duty of the government to create an environment wherein there are a lot of job opportunities available. Okay, you need to have sufficient money to buy nutritious food. Again, I repeat this statement: nutritious food does not mean expensive food. Okay, it doesn't mean like having nutrition means having some chicken lollipop or tandoori and so forth. It's basic. Just have rice, curry, fish, chapati, vegetable, or any nutritious vegetable. Okay, this is more than enough. You don't need exotic food. Okay, so remember that. Personal and community issues both matter for health. So I told you, your situation in the house, in the office, and in your society, your neighborhood, how your relationship is everywhere. That also matters for your personal health. Community health. All those activities which people do individually and in groups for the development of their society constitute the community. So that may involve you getting involved in your office work, your school work, you participate in various competitions, or you take part in various activities, or you go to practice a musical instrument, or to learn certain martial arts and so forth, or some public activity, something. Okay, it's basically talking about your ecosystem, whom you roam around with, what do you do. Okay, that is what also matters. So personal and community health are supplementary. So they basically are interdependent on each other. So you can't take one separate and the other separate from each other. Yeah, we protect ourselves by keeping our body. See, every day we move around, we may not be able to see the germs. They are microscopic, and we do not have eyesight which is microscopic. They are present within us. There will be a lot of germs, unwanted material, lots of dust, smoke, and so forth. And that is why it is important that we need to take a shower every day, have bath every day, to cleanse ourselves, to cleanse our body, to prevent any diseases that could be caused by some harmful bacteria or pathogen. Okay. So once again, to make sure this happens, we also require a good and healthy environment in our surroundings. We can only have this thing by means of community health and development. So it is important, like you have our municipal council, or maybe the panchayat, or any local body which makes sure that the people adhere to the rules, do not litter here and there, and keep social norms intact. Disease and its causes. So what does disease look like? So when a person is affected by a disease, either the functioning or the appearance of one or more of the systems of the body will change for the worse. When we fall sick, how we appear. Okay, we'll really look under the weather. We'll be like feel extremely weak. Our eyes sometimes sink like inside. We don't feel like eating and drinking, and we feel highly lethargic, as in we feel extremely tired and so forth. Okay, so various things depends on the type of disease you have. The symptoms will show up, but either way it tells you that you're not well. That's the bottom line of this. What How does a disease manifest itself? Okay, so this disease do give rise to certain symptoms. The symptoms will help the medical practitioner in finding out preliminary. He may be able to diagnose your problem, disease. Further, he or she will have to carry out more tests, maybe blood tests, urine tests, and so forth, to confirm his or her doubts on the see. Okay.